Hello and welcome to Let's Play Mechajammer with me, BringItDon. Mechajammer was developed by Whale Studios, the same developer who brought us Serpent in the Staglands. It was published by Modern Wolf and released December 2nd, 2021. It's described as being a tactical cyberpunk turn-based RPG. When I say turn-based, it's turn-based with a twist. So everyone shares a turn, and the player dictates the flow of combat. So you control only your main character, and whenever you decide to act, whether it's move or attack or whatever, everyone else does it at the same time. It's a little hard to describe, but we'll see it once we get into the game. I did play through the tutorial, and it's really fun. This game has me hooked, and I'm really excited to jump into the campaign. The developers also emphasized player agency in the game. The game isn't meant to hold your hand, there's no quest markers or anything like that. There's even a notebook in-game you can take notes in to keep track of what's going on. I'm really excited for that mechanic. I don't think nearly enough games have that mechanic, and I'm stoked about it. So going forward, the rest of this episode will be nothing but character creation. I'm going to go through the character creation menu and read everything. So if that's not your cup of jam, feel free to jump ahead to the next episode when we get into the game proper. But for now, let's start a new game.
In the far distant future, Earth and her children wage war across the stars. Militant governments police citizens with a heavy hand and draft anyone who steps out of line to the war machine. In an age where worlds are counted as casualties, this is where the stories of most conscripts begin and end. Fortunately, your story begins with an unexpected turn of events.
The crack in the hull's starting to give. We're not going to make it much further. We'll have to land in the hub city. Hold on. Why the cinematic was so quiet? The main menu music was so loud, it's hard to balance the volume. Alright, welcome to character creation. So I've already gone through this a bit, and I kind of know what I want to build. Gonna name our character Donnie. And this is going to be the portrait we select, but we'll go through all of them real quick, just to show them off. Alright, come full circle. And you can select a preset if you want. Conrad is a stemmed-up fighter from back alleys of the overcrowded cities of Earth. Scrawny but good with a pistol and a sharp eye. Adri? Born in the Quentin Industries warehouse district, Adri quickly became adept with using the wrenches, hammers, and clubs lying around the factory lots. Then Mika or Micah. Quiet and agile, Adam glides silently through enemy lines, a veritable ghost amongst thugs. He's trained with throwing knives, but he'd rather send his enemies into a long nap if possible. Named Adam Micah? Okay, anyway. Alright, so character creation. Your character is made up of a mix of virtues, studies, and their past jobs. Skill levels are represented with 6-sided dice. Drag the dice down from the virtues and studies dice pools to the boxes below them to improve that ability. More dice in a virtue or study means a better chance of success when faced with a challenge that requires their dice. For example, every die you drag into the perception box improves ranged weapon aim. Pips. The numbers to the left of the study dice sounds weird. Represent bonus pips. Flat numbers that add to your dice rolls. 6 pips equals 1 die. So these are your pips here. We don't have anything yet. Your questionnaire here determines your pips. Luck dice. When your character tries to do something that you have 0 dice in, they roll a single 6-sided luck dice for a chance to roll a 6 and succeed. Jobs. Fill out your character's background quiz to determine their past jobs and their age. Background jobs will add small bonuses and reductions to your studies. They also come with a minor disadvantage. Age. Your age will limit how many dice can go into some virtues, as humans naturally gain and lose abilities throughout their life. And then more. Click on the virtue, studies, jobs, and disadvantages to learn how each will affect your character. So start over here with these stats. So action turns. The number of turns you need to execute an attack or action. Turns equals 1 item difficulty plus dexterous. A bag size. The size of your bag, muscle mass determines how much you can lift. Item weight. The size of items you carry in your hand without a penalty to damage rolls. Determined by muscle mass. Heavy guns and two-handed weapons often require up to 3 dice in muscle mass, while knives and small guns require 0. Life Restore. How many turns it will take to regenerate 1 life, 1 hand range. I don't think that's supposed to be there. I think it's supposed to be for generate 1 life. Max life points. Your total vitality. If your life points decrease to 0, you have to return to your base to be healed. Stun Revival. Reduces length of knockouts and stunning ailments. Walk Noise. Radius of noise you make while walking. This will be modified by type of surface you're walking on and the weight of your bags. Crouch Noise. Radius of noise you make while sneaking. This will be modified by type of surface you're walking on and the weight of your bags. Sight Radius. How far you can see. A Pain Threshold. Your body's natural immunity to physical ailments and abuse. Every die in Pain Threshold increases life regeneration speed by 1 turn, is added to success rolls for blocking defenses, and increases maximum life points. Like Quietness. Move through the world with a whisper or a thud. Every die in Quietness reduces noise from jumping, walking, and sneaking. 3 dice in Quiet critical hit targets that have not detected you. A Muscle Mass. Raw Strength gives your close range attacks force and vigor. Every die in Muscle Mass increases damage by 1, allows you to carry extra items in your bag, up to 3 dice. Is added to success rolls for unarmed attacks in pole, impact, two-handed edge, and chained weapons. Grace. Agility on the move and in the air. Every die in Grace reduces action recovery turns by 1, reduces reload turns by 1, reduces damage roll from stepping on hazardous materials by 1. It is added to success rolls for items that use throwing skills, one-handed edge weapons, and for burglary rolls. Perception. How far you can see and how well you'll discern the shapes and the shadows. Better eyesight improves targeting precision for all weapons. Every die in Perception adds +1 modifier to weapon aiming rolls, and is added to success rolls for slug guns, plasma guns, and laser guns. Occult. The mind stability in the face of unknown forces. Every die in Occult is added to success rolls for organics and social. And learning. Learning abilities are essential for those dabbling in chemistry, computers, and mechanics. 1 or more die in learning is added to success rolls for repair, chemistry, and hacking, and improves ability to decipher other languages. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 into Pain Threshold, 2 into Muscle Mass, and 1 into Occult. Alright, One-Handed Edge. Your skill with knives. Success rolls for chain weapons are augmented with your Grace die. Two-Handed Edge. Success rolls are calculated by rolling your dice plus pips and modification against the item difficulty. We won't have to reread that because that's the same for every one of these. A Two-Handed Edge. Your skill with swords, and that's augmented by muscle mass. And you cannot use two-handed edge weapons with marshmallow condition. Impact. You skill with blunt weapons, including clubs, hammers, crowbars, and shovels. That's augmented with muscle mass. Pole. Your skill with polearms and harpoons. Also augmented with muscle mass. Throwing weapons. You skill with any item that can be thrown. A wide variety of objects ranging from throwing knives to flasks of chemicals. Augmented by Grace. Chained. You skill with chain whips and nunchaku. Augmented by muscle mass. Slug guns. You skill with pistols, rifles, and stocked weapons. Augmented by perception. Laser guns. You skill with laser guns. Augmented by perception. Plasma guns. You skill with plasma guns. Augmented by perception. Unarmed. You skill with punching and kicking. Augmented by muscle mass. Blocking. The ability to use a shield to fend off close range attacks. Success rolls for blocking are augmented with your Pain Threshold die. Organics. Your knowledge in the science of the human body. Use Organics Training 2. Use lightning rods to resurrect fallen bodies to do your bidding. Kill your companions without items or aid. Alright, the rest I read. Chemistry. Your knowledge of chemical compounds and their known effects. A skilled chemist can create elixirs of fire, oil, acid, and flash grenades. Social. Your ability to manipulate, charm, or persuade others to do your will. A higher number increases your ability to successfully hit a target. Use your social charm to ask others to join you, convince hostile or neutral parties to leave their post, and gather rumors. Burglary. Your aptitude in the realm of petty thievery. A higher number increases your ability to successfully hit a target. Use your burglary training to do sleep attacks, roll combined with organics, lockpick, set and disable traps, and gather rumors. Hacking. Your skill with computers and knowledge of the mechanical world. A higher number increases your ability to successfully hit a target. Use your hacking training to turn off lights, doors, cameras, and electricity via terminals. Hack ATMs. Sounds pretty good. And repair. Your knowledge of mechanics and engineering. Use your repair training to repair damaged weapons, create drones from unused weapons and armor. Alright, so this part gets a little bit more elaborate. We're going to go through this a few times because depending on your choices depends what you unlock on the next page. So which birth kit was provided or purchased during your early development? US government public option. So your birth kit, the common term for the genetic synthetic stem, GSS, first developed by Quentin syndicates. DNA modification results in improved physical condition, immunity to diseases, and intelligence, not intellect. So for the first one, those who cannot afford to buy a private kit can accept the public option provided by the US government. Birth kits often determine job paths later in life. Quentin Genetics BioPlus. Citizens can purchase premium injections from Quentin syndicates, improving their native abilities and minimizing the need to labor and learn skills. Birth kits often determine job paths later in life. And natural birth. Unregistered and unemployed citizens do not qualify for the public option and are not able to upgrade their child's genetic structure. Birth kits often determine job paths later in life. I read that last sentence 3 times, didn't have to. Alright, so you see here we have homeless, dock worker, gig worker, nurse, data entry, trial subject, and trooper. We go here, we no longer have a couple of those options. Then here I think unlocks a couple other options like farmer. So first up we have homeless. Government welfare funds dried up in the first year of the Psy War. As millions of refugees poured into the safe walls of the cities, you were one of the many fighting for shelter in the alleys and tent cities. Oh, sorry, I didn't read the question. Which of the following occupations did you hold before age 20? Dock worker. Syndicates ship goods across the oceans on hulking ships, stuffed with expensive cargo. You'd never been quick of wit, but you knew your way around a forklift. The gig worker. A jack of all trades and a master of none. Rejected syndicate applications force you to bounce between low-paying gigs to keep the lights on. Nurse. Compassion and a steady paycheck kept you at your post day in and day out at the overwhelmed urban hospitals. Data entry. You join the masses of office workers who file into the doors of syndicate offices 5 days a week. Paper pushing is dull work, but it paid the bills. Trial subject. No better job prospects. You volunteered as a syndicate lab subject for 50 wandoons a week, and a few years knocked off your life expectancy. So I think wandoons is a currency in this game, which is a ridiculous name, but I love it. Alright, trooper. Trained in the basics of melee and ranged assaults, you join millions of young Americans defending the nation against the ongoing Psy War rebellion. Alright, unemployed. Not many can afford a life of leisure, but your inherited wealth protected you from the needs of the masses. I think we read the rest of those. Natural birth. Pickpocket. Forced to the streets without the right birth kit and right bank account. Turn to petty theft to fill your stomach. A looter. Like a rat, you rummage in the hills of trash surrounding the city walls. Competition was fierce, but you usually managed to gather enough to sell or eat. And a farmer. The Psy War ravaged America's heartland, but scientists adapted soy and wheat to grow in zones with minor radiation. You labored in the fields to produce food for the cities, creating thick smog for toxic pesticides. Alright, so depending on which ones we choose, we get different detriments. So homeless, you become an addict. Anticipation is a luxury your brain can't afford. The pills seem to find their way into your bloodstream before you can read the label. And hungry. Immediately eat any food that comes your way. You never know when another meal is coming. So this is a little detrimental because food is used for healing. You regenerate health naturally, but the food gives you an instant boost to your health instead of having to wait for it to regenerate. And then lead poisoning. Exposure to lead has affected your development. Take on a fatigue ailment every time you succeed at a learning-based role. Or at learning-based roles. And then dock worker has cough. Constant air pollution has permanently inflamed your lungs, and you cough constantly. Roll to cough every 10 minutes in game time, drawing the attention of anyone nearby. Obviously detrimental to a stealth build. There is a noise, well, we read that with the skills. There is a noise mechanic in the game as well. Lost finger. You lost a finger in a work injury. Not an important one, but you've never been quite as nimble. +1 to all your recovery turns for weapons with a difficulty greater than 1. Effects will stack if selected more than once. A head injury. The nails in your prefrontal cortex were removed, but your personality swings like a pendulum between anger and depression. -3 to your social success rolls. Then bad back. Years of heavy lifting have taken their toll. +1 to all recovery turns using melee weapons. Alright, those are all the same. We've read all 3 of those. Let's see. Nope, that's not the right one. Wait, did I select this one? Yeah. Alright, then nurse. So oath to heal. Your sworn oath to help someone in need of medical assistance is hard to shake. Give medical supplies to any vagrants you talk to. Hesitate. Violence is something you watch on TV, not live with daily. You freeze with nerves when you first encounter an enemy, adding 2 turns to your first action prep time. Honor. A life without honor is not a life worth living. You can't bring yourself to deliver stealth attacks, even to get an edge on an enemy. Alright, data entry has elitist. Your sheltered life leads you... Shouldn't be leads, should be leaves. Leaves you ill-equipped to scavenge good loot out of piles of trash. You struggle to find quality items outside of shops and vendors. Naive. Vendors look at you and see a stack of wandoons. Pay an extra 10% at merchants as they pull the wool over your innocent eyes. Coward. Sweaty hands fumble a good aim. -1 modifier to hit rolls. 2 left feet. You tell people it's a mutation, but you're just clumsy. Roll every hour while moving for a chance to trip. Butterfingers. Sweaty palms drop weapons under pressure. Roll to avoid dropping your weapon after every attack. That sounds terrible. Alright, so overfumed, what is this? The trial? Yeah, trial subject. So overfumed. Exposure to an endless cocktail of chemicals has frayed your nerves. Take on a fatigue ailment when consuming stimulants. And then PTSD. The sounds of fighting can trigger violent memories. Roll after every action in combat to avoid fleeing for 10 turns. I think Trooper has... Yeah, I think nerve damage is new. Chemical agents on battlefields have sapped the strength of your nerves and left you susceptible to shock. Every wound knocks you out for an extra 2 turns. Alright, so we are going to go US government public option here, because I want to go dock worker. I'll reread the ones that I select. The syndicates ship goods across the oceans on hulking ships stuffed with expensive cargo. You've never been quick of wit, but you knew your way around a forklift. We're going with cough here. So constant air pollution has permanently inflamed your lungs, and you cough constantly. Roll to cough every 10 minutes in game time, drawing the attention of anyone nearby, because we're not doing stealth. So are you 20 years of age or older? Yes, I am. Alright, so this adds some new options here, which I think are the same for everybody. I went back through previously and looked, so no matter which answers you gave previously, these will always be the same. I think there's a couple new ones, like vendor. So eschewing safer avenues of income. You rented a stall in the bustling downtown market, buying gently used goods from the landfill looters and selling them back to their original owners. Lab assistant. A natural aptitude for the sciences led you to a junior position in the research and development labs. And scout. No, this is not all of them. There's 2 more that I don't see here. In the recon unit, you scouted in rebel territory, radioed back information on the enemy's movements. And syndicate security. Toes rarely creep out of line under unblinking eyes of surveillance technology, but your shine leather boots were there to crush them if they did. We go back to Trooper, and there's 2 more options. Oh, here's a new one. A syndicate vendor. Your business acumen landed you a job with the syndicate vendors, and you push the latest tech and newest fashions to desk jockeys and the unemployed in the campus markets. Jay, let me see something real fast. Is this... So there's 2 more. There's an artillery one and... one other one. Can't find it. I know there's an artillery option. Maybe it has to be under this one. Yeah, here it is. Okay. I think these are the last 2. It's a military engineer. You have vague recollections of developing sonics and tech for the military, but cannot reconstruct specifics from your memory wipe. And then heavy artillery. You dodge the misery of the front lines as a soldier in the heavy guns unit. And that should be all of them. If I missed any, I apologize. There's a lot going on here. So anyway, back to where we left off. Dock worker, off. Over 20 years of age. Alright, so which of the following occupations did you hold between the ages of 20 and 25? I'm going to stick with dock worker here. And then which of these side effects... Yeah, we've already done that. We're with bad back. So years of heavy lifting have taken their toll. Plus one's all recovery turns using melee weapons. It can be kind of rough because we are going melee. So the dock worker gives us 2 pips in impact and 2 in chained. That's up to 4 since I have 2, I guess, quote, tiers of dock worker. Are you 26 years of age or older? Yes, I am. So which of the following occupations did you hold between the ages of 26 and 35? I'm gonna go with gig worker here. My background is I was a dock worker until I was somewhere between 26 and 35. Out of following it out with management, and then I just worked whatever I needed to survive. Which I'm hoping will lean into our origins in game. So I think the gig worker is the most versatile background because it can be whatever you want it to be. Also, it's really nice because it gives you +1 into all of these except for repair. So which of these side effects best matches any conditions you developed at this time? I'm going to stack bad back from being a dock worker for maybe about 10 years. Are you 36 years of age or older? No, I am not. Sorry, I had to throw in an edit. I had a hair in my throat and just started coughing like crazy. Jobs, dock worker, gig worker. Advantages, swim, rummager. I'm not sure what these do. I didn't see those in the listing. I didn't click on them. Disadvantages, cough, bad back. And then 26 to 35-year-olds learning is capped at 3 dice, which you see here. Then we have, for studies, 1 in all except for repair, or at least 1 in all. And then 5 in impact and 5 in chained. We're going to put 2 dice into impact, 2 into blocking, and 2 into social. And that's our character. That's going to do it for the character creation. I will jump into the game proper in the next episode and see how our build plays out. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one.